Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson today. We're listening to the detectives will make a startling discovery at a crime scene. 48 hours.
For homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called. Good Samaritan Test, single blade. Their chance of solving a murder is cut in half if they don't get a lead within the first 48 hours. Louisville, Kentucky. The homicide unit is working a case in progress. Can I talk to you for a few minutes right back there? We'll just pull right here. Veteran Sergeant Danny Butler is canvassing the Portland neighborhood. He meets a potential witness named Rosemary Stinson. After questioning her, he gives her a ride home. Is there a lot of drugs down there? Yeah. What's the drug of choice? Is it still crack? Yeah. How long have you been hooked? I've been on it for a while, then I got locked up for 6 months, and I just got out like 2 months ago, and I shouldn't even. Go back on it. That's what I'm going in. Yeah. Rosemary says she wants to go to rehab. How many kids you got? Three. You see them much? No, I can't see them right now. You're working off these drugs. You know? Maybe straighten your life out where you can be with your kids. Yeah. All right, bye-bye. But Rosemary would never have that opportunity. 1 month later, 3:51 p.m. When police and paramedics arrive, they find a woman lying in the street with a stab wound to the chest. They rush her to the hospital, but she dies. The victim is Rosemary Stinson. Lead Detective Brenda Westcott is an 8-year veteran of the Louisville Metro Police Department. I went straight to the hospital, and I was there when she died. And then the hospital staff and I went to notify her family. Welcome to homicide, baby. I was actually on the way home. Sergeant Brian Nunn is the newest member of the homicide team. He's been on the force for 20 years. I just want to take you to the scene. According to the first guys on the scene, all this blood is going to be associated with her. She's not bleeding like I said. Her heart got hit pretty quick. It's a very dead center of her chest, single blade. 33-year-old Rosemary Stinson had been trying to get treatment for her addiction to crack cocaine. She leaves behind 3 children. The victim is Rosemary Stinson. Oh, really? Yeah. You familiar with her? When you ride the same neighborhood day after day, you get to know a lot of the folks that are in that neighborhood.
Now, Rosemary spent quite a bit of time in this area, so a lot of the officers knew her pretty well.
Well, we got witnesses everywhere, so we'll get to work on that. Detectives fed out across the neighborhood. Hey guys, 3 minutes is up. You see what happened? Did you see any of what happened? According to witnesses, the victim appeared to be arguing with 2 men. One of the men fled on a bike. The victim then ran out into the street and collapsed. Her attacker ran off.
I'm betting he's not far. I'm betting he's not 10 blocks from the murder scene. We're going to take our witnesses down to the office, see if we can get some more information on these guys who may be involved.
Appreciate you, okay?
While Detective Will Brown takes witnesses to headquarters, Westcott and Nunn wrap up the crime scene. Minutes later, Brown requests backup. The witnesses in Brown's car spotted one of the 2 men who fled the murder scene. Yeah, I'm down at gunpoint right now. I'll take care of this. Can you run down there and see what they got? Okay, who he is? Right there down there. Supposedly they got a possible subject of interest down on the ground at gunpoint. Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Falwell neighborhood. 8:30 p.m. Police and paramedics respond to a residential street and find a young man lying unconscious on the sidewalk, surrounded by family members. After 10 minutes in the ER, he is pronounced dead.
We're heading out to the Falwell neighborhood in North Minneapolis. A young man was shot out in the street.
Sergeant Jerry Waldwick was in the Army for 12 years before joining the police force in 1990.
There's been a lot of gang activity in that area.
His partner, Sergeant Gerhard Weir, is a third-generation police officer.
We've got multiple witnesses who hear 3 shots, see the victim take out running, and collapse by the truck. You can see this whole car.
Witnesses saw a gold sedan drive off immediately after the shooting.
Where's your head?
Through this, right through, last cell, and third is spine. 1 bullet right through. 3 gunshots.
Any cases? 3.
The victim is 19-year-old Kyle Parker, who lived in the neighborhood. He was a business major at Minneapolis Community and Technical College. He leaves behind a 9-month-old daughter. One hour in, detectives head to the victim's family home, just a few houses down from the shooting. Friends and family gathered at the house are able to provide a lead.
The family said Kyle was out in the street talking to someone in a gold Buick LeSabre. They said they heard shots and then a car sped off.
All we have is a guy shot in the street. Nobody saw the shooter. And all we have is a gold Buick LeSabre.
Weir and Walrick head back to the office with little to go on.
Sergeant Ware. Okay.
The caller has information about the shooting.
Thank you much. Bye. Said it's all 1-9 kind of gang related stuff.
According to the caller, the suspects in the gold Buick LeSabre may be members of the 1-9 gang.
I've worked cases involving the 1-9 gang members since about 2004. Several of them are currently locked up for serious murder.
A lot of people in the community are afraid of them. They shoot a lot of people. They're dangerous.
The caller also said that the victim's sister may have more information for them.
Apparently, she talked to Kyle out in the street just before he lost consciousness. There's a possibility that he told him did it.
The next day, Weir and Walrick head out to speak with the victim's sister.
Who's on time talk for a few minutes? I'm Jerry. I'm very sorry about your brother. Were you the first one to call us after he was shot?
The victim's friends say 4 men in a green Chevy Impala just pulled up to the house, brandished a gun, and then drove off.
Green 4-door Impala occupied by approximately 4.
Walrick calls for backup.
What's up, Eric? These guys are on the green Chevy Impala, 4 or 5, occupied by 4, so they get the back. I get a call in there.
In the murder of Kyle Parker, Minneapolis Sergeants Gerhard Weir and Jerry Walrick have learned that the 1-9 gang is rumored to be responsible for the shooting. Walrick was speaking with the victim's sister when a green car drove by and allegedly flashed a gun.
Walk to my voice, walk to my voice. Walk over here. Hand on your back. Where's the gun at in the car?
I didn't know there was any guy. I just got picked up.
Okay, where's the gun at in the car? Who took it? Okay. Okay.
Police search the roadside as well. They don't find the gun anywhere.
I can't find anything on these guys. Maybe it's not the right car. There you go. Thanks, guys.
We ain't down here killing nobody.
Walrick and Weir returned to speak with the victim's sister, who was with Kyle just before he died.
On Tuesday evening, we're at your mom's house. Can you describe what happened?
I came in the house, the next thing I know, my little brother said, Cal shot, ran outside, I just ran to him.
And when you get your brother, was he still conscious and talking to you?
Yeah.
What did your brother tell you when you got him to him?
He just kept saying, Chris, fat, Chris.
In Louisville, Detective Brenda Westcott and Sergeant Brian Nunn are investigating the murder of 33-year-old Rosemary Stinson. Neighbors saw Rosemary and two men in an argument shortly before she was stabbed. Now, police may have one of the men in custody. The witnesses ID'd the man as one of the two who fled the scene. Nunn recognizes the potential suspect from his years in patrol.
How you been, man? I ain't seen you in a minute. I'm glad. I know you do. You looking good? Yeah, that's what's up, man. Just like, you cool with discovering anything in Hollywood? I've known the guy 18, 19 years when I used to ride in some of our public housing complexes. Not a bad guy, just has made some pretty terrible decisions in his life. So I guess we'll find out in the next few hours if he made another bad one today.
Back at homicide, Westcott prepares to interview the potential suspect, Corey.
We've got several witnesses that saw an argument just a few minutes before the victim was found on the sidewalk. Hey, Corey. And my name's Brenda, and this is regarding the stabbing of Rosemary Stinson.
She's a good friend of mine.
How long have you known her?
Well, 8 years.
8 years. Take me through what happened today.
I was walking Rosemary. She said, Corey, talk.
Corey says this afternoon he went to see Rosemary. She and her friend, Mary Perry, were hanging out in the backyard of a man named Rob Thomas.
As soon as I come in the back alley, Rob and Mary Perry is in the alley. And she said, Corey, look, he stabbed me.
Who was saying he stabbed me?
Mary Perry. Rosemary was alive, breathing, not wrong, no nothing.
According to Corey, Rosemary was sitting nearby at the picnic table in Rob's backyard.
Mary Perry's breathing like that. I was like, what's wrong? She said, look at him. Stabbed me.
Talking about Rob.
Yeah. I was like, Jessica, oh.
Corey claims he told Mary Perry to flee. Rob picked up a wooden plank and chased after her.
I was like, man, what's up, OG? Shut up before you get it. I was like, man, you don't even know me. And that took the focus out of Mary Perry. She went on with past.
Mary Perry was able to escape.
I was like, man, what's wrong, man? He was like, well, you can get it too. Dude chased me with 2 sticks. I said, why are you doing that? He said, because they made of something like that, something crazy. He was kind of drunk. Rosemary was standing there like, Corey, what's wrong? I was like, just go. Just go. I grabbed my bike.
Corey says he jumped on his bike and sped off. Several minutes later, he returned to the area to check on her.
They was like, don't you know Rosemary did? I was like, what?
The neighbors told him she had been stabbed to death.
Well, the stories are really convincing. What's more important is his story is matching the statements given by other witnesses. So really at this point, it's looking like Corey's more of a key witness and Rob T may be our killer.
Here he is. Robert Thomas, 59 years old. Was a Vietnam vet. Look, he's on probation from 06 where he severely beat a man. And he's got a previous conviction for cocaine also. You want to do a 6-pack? 4-pack?
Yeah, let's do 6-pack. Well, here's what I want to do. I want to make sure, again, Robert Thomas is a pretty common name. And I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right Robert Thomas, okay?
Man, say no more. What you think?
There it is. What number is it? Number 5.
I'm glad Corey's doing the right thing. He's been in a lot of trouble over the years, but I didn't think he was a killer.
Well, we'll do this for Rosemary. We'll take care of her. That's all we can do for her now, okay? Hang in there with me, buddy.
All good people gone too soon, man. She's a sweetheart. Ain't gonna hurt her fly, man. Damn, man, this is crazy, man. I swear to God, man. That girl didn't do nothing, man. I swear she didn't.
Bless his heart. You gotta find both of these individuals. Make sure Mary's okay. We need Mary and we need Robert.
The big guys know to be looking for Mary.
Police look for Rob at his apartment. But he's not home. Half a block away, they spot Mary Perry.
I want to make sure you're all right.
Mary's wounds aren't life-threatening. In the stabbing death of Rosemary Stinson, Louisville detective Brenda Westcott has a suspect, 59-year-old Rob Thomas. Now, police have tracked down another woman he allegedly stabbed just before the murder, Mary Perry.
I'm Brenda Westcott. How long have you known Rosemary?
I've been knowing Rosemary for some years. Me and her way back from the streets.
Okay. We've talked to a whole bunch of people, and here's what I want to do, Mary.
I can start from the beginning because it started with me.
Yes, ma'am.
I walked on down to the house, went in the back of the yard at the table. We was all sitting out there drinking. And him.
Mary says that earlier today, she had been hanging out with Rob and some other friends. She went inside Rob's house to smoke crack.
And I mean, I done been in his house getting high 5 or 6 times before.
Okay.
Rob and the others stayed outside.
I was on the couch in his house and was smoking. And he came in, picked up the scissors, and to start stabbing me with them for no reason. He had me down like this and had the scissors in me like that. I'm like, Rod T, what's wrong with you? He said, it's time for you to die today. He said, it's death time. I'm like, Rod T, that's not you. I'm saying, me and you are better than that. I thought you was my friend. I don't know how I talked him into getting off of me. He finally got off of me, and I hurried on and got on out the door.
She says that when she got outside, Corey and Rosemary were there.
Rosemary
Rob came outside and called Rosemary over.
I know something ain't right with him because he's telling her to come on with him. I'm like, Rosemary, don't go. Come on, go with me. She was like hesitating, you know what I'm saying? And he picked up a stick. Bronte started running after me. So Corey tell me, go on and run. So I just take out money and leave.
Mary claims that was the last time she saw Rosemary.
I'm so sorry that you lost your friend today.
I swear to God, I swear to God, it could have been me.
You can look at it one or two ways. You either had a bad day or you're damn lucky today. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
She describes the same scenario that Corey described earlier. One of the big questions that we have to answer in a murder is a why. That's the big thing that we don't have right now is, why did this happen? Those are just some questions we'll have to answer when we get Mr. Rob T.
The next day, police get a tip that Rob is hanging around outside a nearby hospital.
I'm pulling in the emergency room now. See if I can catch him.
Detectives spot Rob at a gazebo. In the Minneapolis shooting of Kyle Parker, Sergeants Gerhard Weir and Jerry Wallach are talking to the victim's sister, who spoke with Kyle just before he died.
He just kept saying, Chris, fast.
Was he referring to who shot him or?
Kyle's friends claim Fat Chris is a member of the 1-9 gang, who are rumored to be responsible for the shooting.
I said, man, how you let them do this? How you let them do this to you, man? The cow, man, I'm here, man. Yeah, he just kept saying, help.
Who's helping into it? Was he in it with that Chris?
No.
Kyle's sister says she doesn't know why Fat Chris or the 1-9s would want to shoot him.
This concludes the statement.
I feel positive that's from the victim himself. She heard it from him. The 9 declaration is pretty huge.
Back at headquarters, Weir looks up Fat Chris in Minneapolis' gang database.
Christopher Batuo. This is Fat Chris.
19-year-old Christopher Batuo has a pending weapons charge.
Fat Chris has a 92 vehicle Sabre for him, golden car.
The car's huge because the car given by the witnesses, the suspect vehicle description, matches a car registered to that Chris.
So we look for Chris.
The next day, Sergeant Alan Kramer and the Violent Criminal Apprehension Team, or VCAT, head out to look for Fat Chris and his gold Buick LeSabre. They hit the addresses of his friends and family.
We're with the police department in Minneapolis.
What do you think of that? What's your gut telling you?
It'd be a hotel.
Yeah.
As the first 48 ticks away, Fat Chris is nowhere to be found. In the first 48, Sergeants Gerhard Weir and Jerry Walrick responded to the murder of Kyle Parker. An informant said Kyle was shot by the 1-9 gang. Kyle's sister said before he died, Kyle told her the shooter was Fat Chris of the 1-9s. Police searched for Fat Chris and his gold Buick LeSabre, but were not able to find him. The next day,
We received information about an address out in Bloomington, and I sent a couple of my officers down there. They discovered the suspect's vehicle parked down there. There's a good chance our suspect is out here. That's it.
in the Minneapolis shooting of Kyle Parker, Sergeants Gerhard Weir and Jerry Walrick have a suspect, Fat Chris Batul. Now, VCAT has tracked down his gold Buick LeSabre.
That's it.
The mother of Fat Chris's girlfriend lives in the apartment complex.
Somebody's inside. Well, it's open.
Neither Fat Chris nor his girlfriend are there. The mother says the couple was staying with them while their own apartment was being painted. She says they left in her daughter's car 3 days ago, and she hasn't heard from them since.
We'll keep looking for him. We'll keep the pressure on. There's no statute of limitations for murder. He'll resurface sometime. We'll find him.
1 month later,
We got a call from Chris's attorney yesterday saying he would deliver him into custody. All our work is finally paid off.
Fat Chris comes forward with his attorney.
Have a seat, make yourself at home. Hopefully, Chris talks. We know he was there. We just need to hear his side of it. Was he just the driver? Is he the driver and the shooter? Do you want to talk to us, Chris? Oh, this is really crazy, man. I would expect that people saying what they're saying, but Kyle was a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with Kyle. Okay. I will be upfront and honest with you. There's a lot of stuff we know because Kyle didn't die right away. Signed declaration. Who shot me? If you were there, which I know you were. I'll be able to tell you. Well, your car was there. I don't believe so. If you were there and didn't shoot, somebody in your car did something really stupid, you know, would be the time to do it. Okay? You got nothing else to say, y'all, man. For real, after you were pretty dancing, I already told you, man. That's it.
It's frustrating. I was hoping he would talk. I believe there are other 1-9 gang members also involved.
Without Fat Chris talking, the motive remains unclear.
We don't know whether or not Kyle had some type of problem with the 1-9 gang. We're going to ask the county attorney's office to charge Christopher Batuu with the murder of Kyle Parker and let a jury decide whether or not he's guilty.
Let's go. Let's walk away.
Cal was like old boy's age. He was an old soul. That was my baby.
And he did a big birthday party for his daughter. She was walking down. Cal would love seeing that. He'll never see her walk. He'll never see her talk or go to prom or go to her wedding or none of that. And that's just so unfair. Not a matter of 5 minutes. Her whole life can change.
Oh, Jesus. I'm struggling to be all right because that's what he wants me to do. But I miss him so much. I miss him so much.
In the stabbing death of Rosemary Stinson, Louisville detective Brenda Westcott has a suspect, 59-year-old Rob Thomas. Detectives Chris Middleton and Kyle Willett have just spotted him outside a hospital.
Well, what you do right now? What you ride downtown? You got a problem doing that? Mr. Thomas? You okay? Everything's all right with you? Okay. There's no sense in being mean or being overbearing to him. We don't know the whole story yet. Got a 60-year-old man that was involved in something. You know, this might be the chance to get it off his chest. There's times I think you have no idea why we're sitting down here. Okay? I'm interested to hear your side of the events. I want to hear your side of the events. But before I do that, I do have to read you your rights. Number one, you have the right to remain silent.
Middleton reads Rob his Miranda rights.
Well, Mr. Thomas, if you'd like to speak to me right now, sign right here for me. Do you want to tell me what happened?
In the murder of Rosemary Stinson, Louisville detective Chris Middleton is questioning their suspect, Rob Thomas.
And that's your choice. Okay. I mean, I'm not doing this to be mean to you or anything, but I think you've got a right to know. You're going to be charged with the murder of Rosemary Stinson. You're also going to be charged with a criminal attempt murder of Mary Perry when you stepped over the scissors.
That's why I want to sign that, because I didn't stab nobody. And I'm married.
Unprompted, Rob begins to talk.
I know you told me she wanted to use my bathroom. Well,
He admits that he did have a run-in with Mary Perry that day.
and she has to use the bathroom. But she took too long. So I went to sleep and she was in there. She was in my house smoking crack. She had those scissors in her hand. I snatched them, but I didn't stab her with no scissors. That's neither here nor there.
Rob also claims he doesn't know what happened to Rosemary.
That girl that she took off running down the street. How not? She was stabbed when she took off running down the street. She wasn't stabbed when she left me. You're in a bad situation. We both agree on that. I agree. I don't know the reasons why this happened. I know the outcome of it. I know that there's a lady dead. And you've been identified as the person that caused her death. But what I don't know right now is why she's dead. There's always reasons for everything. Believe it or not, sometimes people have a good reason why they kill another person. If you want to talk to me, feel free to. Just let it stay like it is. I'm going to refuse on her, okay?
As far as him requesting an attorney, I guess to some degree it's always a letdown. But we have so many good witnesses. As far as his motive for this, I suspect it's a little drug induced.
With 20 hours left in the first 48, they closed the case. In the first 48, Detective Brenda Westcott responded to the murder of Rosemary Stinson. A witness said Rosemary and another woman were stabbed by Rob Thomas. Rob denied having stabbed either woman. Westcott heads out to meet with Rosemary's family to tell them they've made an arrest.
Rosemary has a very large family that loves her very much. She was actually adopted as a child, but she's still in contact with her biological family.
We've had a lot of witnesses come forward. It's very unusual, and I think it speaks to Rosemary, how special she was.
Rosemary was just a lovable, caring person, and she would do anything for you.
No matter how much we loved her, she got into trouble sometimes. She did some drugs and drank some, and we didn't like it, but we couldn't stop her.
How long you been hooked?
I've been on it for a while, but I got locked up for 6 months and I just got out.
Yeah, back on.
That's why I'm going in.
She was trying to get her. Just give your honor back. That's all.
Westcott arrives at Rosemary's birth mother's home.
This is my little sister.
She's lovely, sister.
So she got her Sunday. She said, Mom, I need to get help. I want help. We was trying to get her timber, but their beds were full. That's what she was waiting on. The day she was killed, they called to accept her. To accept her there.
What kids you got?
3.
You see her much?
No, I can't see one time.
Let me straighten your life out when you can be with your kids.
Yeah, I don't want to. He was really a beautiful, beautiful person inside. Yes, she was.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Richmond, California is a small city nestled into the picturesque hills above San Francisco Bay. But this tiny town's beauty is too often eclipsed by rampant drugs, murders, and violent gang turf wars. In 2004, the carefully planned execution of a beloved high school football star by a killer, a motive, and a method that all defy belief will expose a shocking betrayal and will bring a close-knit family and the entire city of Richmond to their knees. Richmond is located just north of Oakland and overlooks the wharves and shipyards of the San Francisco Bay. It began as an industrial town, and after World War II, the population boomed when African Americans from southern states came there looking for opportunity.
The shipyards, those were where the jobs was at. And the people was coming to where the money was, you know. And not only that, they was able to create jobs too. They was bringing their skills from being maids and stuff like that, coming out here to these rich people communities and offering maid service, you know. And our people did that, brought that out here. They was very good cooks. They were very good homemakers. You know, they was coming out here doing the same thing they was doing out there, but they were getting paid out here.
We was able to acquire land and then build the city ground up. So it's like to come from a place and really start new and have an opportunity, it takes a certain type of like vision and spirit. They call our city pride and purpose. You feel me? So it's like to come from one region to another and almost like build up this new black, like robust community is like it attests to like the type of people, you know what I mean? Because they came over here together and they built something together, and it's their children who then were supposed to reap the benefits of that. So you feel me? The type of people out here is like independent minded, hustler spirit. Hustling not meaning like illegal. Hustling just mean like having an idea and knowing how to go gather the means to achieve that outcome. And just being able to say like, man, I can get it out the mud for real, because we really had to build this city up from almost nothing.
We had black-owned gas stations. We had black-owned restaurants, the top ones, you know, that everybody go to. It was just beautiful.
But by the 50s, the war efforts had ended and the jobs dried up. Richmond's population plummeted by over 20,000 as residents left in search of work. Those who stayed behind struggled to make ends meet. The crack epidemic of the 1980s and 90s only compounded the devastation.
Now, BC, before crack, we're talking about good families. A lot of grandmothers still in the house. A lot of families with auntie, uncle, big mama, on down to the babies crawling in there. Everybody responsible for everybody. 100% love. Kind of like how you see in the Latino family now. You know, just the whole family in the house. Now you're seeing people that was astounding citizens walking away from jobs, walking away from success.
The men went to jail, the mothers were on drugs, and so the kids were on their own.
Now them babies is inside the house raising themselves.
Many young men turned to the drug trade to make a living, with disastrous and deadly results.
At that time, there was a lot of open-air drug dealing, street sales, and narcotics. So with selling drugs in the street, you're going to get a lot of violence.
Warring gangs now control the streets and divided Richmond into 3 sections known as the Iron Triangle.
In that triangle, you have Central, South, North Richmond. It became a difficult place to really kind of navigate through because you don't know who's on what side, who's still cool with who.
By the early 2000s, gang-related violence in Richmond had risen to 7 times the national average, and Richmond became known as one of the deadliest cities in America.
Even though Oakland's a so much bigger city, Richmond was just as dangerous as Oakland. So, but it's funny when you're coming from where I'm from, it's all the same. So I guess when you're from it, you see it a lot, you become kind of numb to it, in a sense, so that's the way I looked at it.
Some families turn to sports to try and keep their kids out of gangs and off the streets.
Sports was a getaway. On the sports field, all we have to worry about is being kids and playing.
Sports was important because it gave you structure, it gave you a sense of purpose, a possibility of another life outside of where you are, and possibly of getting out of your situation.
But in 2004, the execution of a beloved sports hero would serve as a grim reminder that no one is immune from violence if the violence is hell-bent on finding you. August 12, 2004. Shortly after 10:30 p.m., Richmond police respond to shots fired in a residential neighborhood. When officers arrive at the scene, they find a young man dead in the street.
And as soon as I drove up, I knew this wasn't the normal homicide. There was 150, 200 people out. There was every cop car in the city was there. Crime tape all over the place.
The reason for the large crowd quickly becomes clear. The victim is 18-year-old football star Terrence Kelly.
At that time, I did not know Terrence Kelly was Terrence Kelly. I didn't know he was this all-star athlete from Bellstown. I didn't know he was getting ready to go to University of Oregon. The car that he was driving was up against another car, like he rear-ended it. The driver's door was open, and Terrence was at least halfway out, if not all the way out.
His feet were still in the car, but his head and his upper torso, his body was outside of the car.
You can just feel the uneasiness and the uncertainty of what's about to happen in life from everyone because of who had just got killed.